Okay. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll start with the assessor for a roll call.
Larry Stein, President.
Miles Davidson, present.
Butch Freeman, I'm here.
Brian Mon.
Marissa Tree.
Rick Warren.
Tommy Johnson III.
It was properly posted on December 18th. And Sheriff, would you lead us in pledge?
Of course.
Congratulations to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of December 10?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any individual consent docket considerations?
Mr. Warren.
I believe there's one commissioner that your deputy would like to bring to our attention. What number was that? 26, I believe is what it was. 20, that's not 26.
So do them individually. So
There's actually an
Justin.
MOU improperly placed within the agenda. Nothing wrong with approving it here, but just wanted everybody to be aware that it was an MOU.
So can we do 1 through 25 and then that one separate?
That would be great.
It's not-
Is that
Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Okay, I'll second.
No, it shouldn't, it would be number 2.
Number 2. Oh,
It's number-
yes. 2 through 25.
2 through 25. Okay, that's your
Yeah.
motion.
Yes.
Okay, I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Just here if you have any questions about 26.
And 26 is just our county burial MOU with ARPA funds. Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for your understanding.
And who's presenting monthly today?
And Brooke
Okay.
will present for us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here to present the November monthly financials. Page 1, we're going to look at the reserve balance as of November 30th, and that shows $9,116,435 currently. There are 2 transfer items on today's agenda. For the court services, a one-time money is being transferred, and then the IT MIS. If those 2 items are approved, the reserve will drop down to $8,671,114.36. Going to jump over to the general fund budget analysis. The ending cash balance as of November will be $15,675,435 in that general fund account. We're going to look at a comparison between this year and last year. I don't know what. Say it again for me. Sorry. Thank you. Prior year comparison, our revenue has increased by 34%. And if you want to look at dollar amount and not just the percentage, that's about $4 million.
Where from?
Don't ask me that. Everything. Property taxes.
Taxes, most of it taxes?
Mostly taxes, yes, sir. Let me go back. The employee benefits fund. Our cash balance has also increased. We are at $1,030,000. And the projection for the $982,000 also includes the employee benefit supplement. And of course, we're only at halfway through the year, so we have some potential expenses that could impact that amount as well. Next, John will cover the year-to-date comparison for the benefits, medical and prescription claims. Then if I look at the employee benefits comparison last year to this year, our cash balance has increased by 25% as well. So we are really doing really good this year. And in regards to the capital project budgets, our total unallocated capital funds is $9,386,427. Any questions, comments, or concerns? From the back.
On your unallocated.
Am I looking at the wrong one?
You're on one line. See that, 393.
Maybe I need to zoom in. Unallocated funds, correction, $393,594 on the allocated. Other than that, that is all that we have from the finance department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions? Is there a motion?
Move acceptance.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Cody?
Good morning. A couple changes on the watch list this month. We do have some recommendations on your agenda as well associated with those changes. We have court services. We have had a pretrial services program of $300,000 on there that we've been watching. We are recommending a transfer today in item 35 to fund the second 6 months of the team contract, which is $325,000. It's the same as the pretrial services program. So if you approve that one, the pretrial services would go away. Item 39 is a new item on the watch list. It is the IT GIS employees to salary and fringe. It's a new recommendation from our group. And then we do have a recommendation on your agenda that is not on the watch list, and that is item 31.
I got a question. Now, actually, and Mr. Assessor, I'm not trying to pick on you or anything, but I do have a question. These two people are being transferred from your office, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So was your office already funded for the two of them?
No, not entirely, no.
How were they getting paid?
Well, we were paying them internally, but what their responsibilities are going to be different. Mike, you want to address that?
Colonel, our understanding was these folks were paid for split out of some general fund and out of their special revenue account, their reval. When we did a flat budget this year, they had informed us last year that they were going to need additional general fund dollars to fund those positions for the entire fiscal year for the general fund portion. When we kept a flat budget in July, they didn't get those additional dollars. Then when we were having the discussions at September supplement, there was a conversation about moving those folks out of the assessor's office and moving them into county MIS, since that department has grown and is doing so much still for the assessor's office, but for a bunch of the rest of us as well. So the thought was, instead of at September supplement, moving this money into the assessor's office to only turn around and move it back out when those transferred later, that we would just wait and have the conversation about the fully funding that when those positions were being moved.
So the answer is yes, we were
department.
paying them, but we were paying them out of special revenue that can't be replaced. Okay.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. That was a very good explanation.
Good job, Mike.
But we
Thank
will
you.
have to look at the MIS budget to see, because there'll be additional employees to MIS for next year.
For the next FY, yeah.
Right, yeah. So their budget will increase.
Yes, ma'am.
And the assessors will decrease.
No, not at all.
Oh, yes, solutions.
Be another $1 million next year for us. So,
Is there a motion to receive his report?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Wilkerson?
Mr. Warren.
You.
John.
Good morning. Let them pull up the report. There we go. This report covers claims that are going to be actually paid through tomorrow's BOCC meeting versus the same period last year. And as this report always focuses on our biggest expense, medical claims and prescription claims. Through tomorrow, we're up 1% on medical claims, 114,000. Prescription claims are down 3%, or 164,000 combined. If you combine medical and prescription, We're down 50,000 for this fiscal year compared to last fiscal year. Our reimbursements are up a little bit, 8%. Overall, if you combine that with reimbursements, we're down 1% combined for this fiscal year.
Any questions?
No, thank you, John.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
Motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Assessor?
I'm sorry, Mr. Warren, what was your motion? Thank you, sir.
Or whomever.
Is anyone from the CJAC here to talk about things?
So they were supposed to, today, supposed to be doing a tour with the Oklahoma Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse with their director. So they had everybody all hands on deck over there for that. And that started at 9:30, but they had to move that that meeting to January 3rd, I believe. So
Okay.
there's not anybody here today, and that's the reason why, because they were all hands on deck over there.
Gotcha.
No action on that item.
No, sir.
Item 31.
Yes, sir. This is actually in an effort to keep us all as close together as we can, and in the interest of fairness, I would propose that we change the salaries actually for the court clerk, the county sheriff, and D2 county commissioner. And incidentally, would like to change the 375 down to $312.50. I have personally decided they weren't worth the 375. So it's now $312.50. And with that, I would move approval.
Second.
Any others? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, item 32.
I'm sorry, Mr. Freeman, I need a vote from you.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Thank you, sir.
I was changing my mind again.
So we need to take 32 and 40 together. They're companion items.
Okay,
32 and 40.
40.
You're gonna
Just
do
for
40 first.
Yes, just for clarification, item 40 is the reconciliation of this particular project for the Emergency Management Communications project. This is a step of closeout. In order to reconcile the accounts, we're just moving some money from capital into M&O. All the encumbrances stay the same. And this leads us to the companion item number 32, which shows us the remaining dollars of this project that we will be requesting to transfer out to the main 1415. And you will see some later action that this project will feed into the Emergency Operations Center for further project expenses there.
And can you remind me what OCSOCBI stands for? But
I'm
what
sorry.
is that acronym?
I'm
Right,
sorry.
but what is the acronym?
OCSO is Oklahoma County Sheriff's Office, and I was speaking on different items, so I apologize. Item 40
Oh.
is the reconciliation of the Sheriff's Community Violence Intervention Program. That'll close that out. And the companion item is number 32, which leads us to $29.64, which is remaining, and we'll go back to 1415.
Still still transferring into the 1415 main
That
account.
is absolutely
Right.
correct. We're just reconciling, closing, and moving over.
Perfect, thank you.
And CVI stands for Community Violence Intervention.
Thank you.
I have that.
Yes, lots of acronyms all over the world. It's very, very helpful, and sounds like a lot of good use of the ARPA funds in the project. So I'm very supportive of resource officers and all the other things, and looking forward to seeing how we can continue to support those efforts moving forward after ARPA too.
is there a motion
Motion. Second.
for items 32 and 40 to be clear?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is that to approve?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Number 33 is possible action and discussion regarding the resolution of ARPA 10033, which is the court clerk's fifth floor renovation transfer of $32,250 from their capital to M&O.
How much?
$37,250.
Great.
Why wouldn't we move that back into the project?
We're moving everything into 14-15 to begin with, and then we'll disperse from there. So the main account.
I'm so sorry, just to clarify, on this item alone, this is to keep all monies within the fifth floor project. We're
There you
just
go.
making sure we pay contractors out of each account appropriately, and so this just makes sure everybody gets paid.
Even better. One less step. Good
I'll
idea.
I'll stay like.
That's a great request there, Mr. Warren.
Motion to approve.
Quick action by the clerk's office. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then we'll request for you to strike number 34.
Motion to strike.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. It has officially been struck. It no longer exists. It never did exist.
Cody?
Mr. Stein? Thank you, sir.
All right, item 35 is an item that would transfer money from general fund reserve. BET is recommending transferring $325,988.94 from the general fund reserve one-time monies into the court services account that we're utilizing to pay for contracts related to court services for this fiscal year. Looking at the entire cost from the previous year to this year, we were trying to figure out what we needed. There was a lot of moving parts on this. Right now, to be able to fund team for the second 6 months of the year at the same rate as the first 6 months, we're short in the amount available in the court services budget of $325,988.94. If that money is moved over, it'll leave enough money in there to encumber the full contract for team for the second 6 months. The reason why we recommended it out of the one-time monies was when we made this change at the beginning of the fiscal year, there were some things that were either unintended or overlooked or whatever that's kind of caused a shift in expenses here. We have a contract with the DA's office for an employee over there. We've got a contract with the Criminal Justice Authority for employees over there, as well as the contract with team for providing the supervision. We also have expenses where we had to move money from court services into our IT department to cover some of the IT related expenses, because now we're kind of paying for that stuff in a couple different buckets. Whereas before, since everything was housed in one place, we were paying for it in one budget. So the thought was, let's go ahead and move the money so that we can encumber that contract for the last 6 months of this year, so that we can have a conversation over the next couple months how we're going to do this moving forward. I think everybody in BET, well, I shouldn't say everybody in BET, the discussion was that we have an expectation that the dollars for next fiscal year for pretrial services align with what they were for this current fiscal year in the very beginning when we set court services budget. Right now, shifting and changing in the middle of the year is going to be a little bit difficult, but we can try to figure out what type of efficiencies. Do we want to keep an employee over in the DA's office, or do we want to, move that back into the county and pay for it another way? I'm not suggesting moving it to team, because I don't think that position could be there, but are there some efficiencies, whether it was moved to the Criminal Justice Authority? Can some of the stuff that's being done by the Criminal Justice Authority, the not pulling the NCICs, but maybe actually writing the summaries and stuff, could some of that be done via our contract provider with the current contract that we have to save us $145,000 there? I think there's a lot of conversations that can be had to see if we can streamline and have a all-encompassing court services program where we've kind of learned our lessons from a couple of missteps in this fiscal year. Can we take those lessons, learn from them, and move forward and have a viable program that we can sustain financially moving into the future? So our recommendation is moving the $325,988.94 from general fund reserve, the one-time monies piece. We were doing that not from the ongoing, but from the one-time, so that the message was clear that we're not planning on this additional $325 for next fiscal year, we're going to try to figure out a way to get the program in line with what the budget was previously. And there were also some other expenses this year that we won't have in the future. We had payouts because we had county employees that went over to team or chose to go elsewhere for employment, and we had to pay over $30,000 in payouts. So those types of things we wouldn't necessarily have in the future. But there's still some discrepancy there in those dollar amounts that we want to get ironed out into the future.
Any questions? And I know Mr. Steele's here too, if you have any questions. Them.
I would just, one, like to shout out Brandon Holmes, our BET person who I think eloquently gave the articulation of what our office felt. Disappointed that we did away with a number of county employees, cloaked in the conversation that this was going to be a more cost-saving endeavor, and it hasn't proven to be. And I'm just disappointed in the way this has went.
Any other questions or comments? I have this on, do I need to?
Yes, sir. That is the updated attachment. The original did not reflect the one-time monies statement.
Okay. Is there a motion to receive this? Is there a second?
What is the motion? Oh, to receive
This-
the
second. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now is there action on this item?
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Thank you.
Mr. Stein? Thank you, sir.
36, this is a transfer.
It is. It's a transfer from within my resale property fund from capital to M&O, $300,000, and it's all for postage. And we've already spent a ton on postage, but this is being driven because of the increase in postage and more statements. One of them's a good thing, more statements. One of them's a bad thing, increased postage.
Much to help you with cost, I'd be glad not to accept any more of those letters.
I have received some many offers to, don't bother to send it to me.
Envelopes I was gonna get back to you, which you guys can reuse. I did.
I move the item.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Jessica?
Number 37 is a resolution, a transfer of funds not to exceed the amount of $77,500 from ARPA drainage culvert inventory back to the 1415 account. This is to close out. These were funds that they did not use.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Much like the sheriff's agenda items, 41 and 38 will need to be taken together. 41 is the discussion regarding the transfer of funds in the amount not to exceed $88,615.41 from the Emergency Management Communications Project to finalize encumbrances. And then 38 is the transfer of the remaining funds not to exceed $423,296.07 from capital to the ARPA Fund 1415.
Why would you want to combine the two items, just from a clerical perspective? Is there a reason, or doesn't the district attorney suggest that we approve items individually instead of combining them?
Maybe not combining them, just making sure since they're similar in nature, just to explain them at the same time. You can definitely
Okay.
discuss them individually.
Just from a bookkeeping perspective, I think it'd be better to take them individually instead of trying to combine them.
Go ahead and make a motion.
Make a motion, we approve item 38.
I do appreciate the discussion that, I mean, I agree with your point in keeping things in order. But I do think it's helpful that you guys did show us that those two items went together, because then it explains what we're doing. So I appreciate
That way
that.
we weren't revisiting. the
Right.
same
No, I
discussion.
really appreciate that. And we've had some discussions of how our team can help put those items together when needed in the future. So thank you.
Okay, was there a second?
I did.
Did you hit your button?
Oh,
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. And then item 41, is that the one we want to do now, or we want to skip over? Which would
Well,
you?
if you want to just keep going in order.
May as well.
39, again, we need to receive this document. Is there a motion?
Motion to receive document.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Now. Yes, sir.
Yeah, 39 is the item that we discussed in the BET watch list agenda item, referencing the 119,332.11, moving from general fund reserve into the MIS, the IT budget for those two positions.
Move approval.
And they'll be moving office space too, is that right?
They're going to move, yes. The two offices, the assessor's office and IT, have agreed to, I mean, it's going to be kind of a soft move. Nothing definite hard that this has to be done by this particular time. Because of the nature of this, we didn't want to rush anything. So it may take just a little while for them to move their space and get IT to get space ready for them. But they've both been willing to accommodate each other on that. And I also think that some of the stuff that some of the folks were doing to help the assessor's office, not related just to GIS, that there was still going to, if they needed some training for folks that are going to be backfilling, that they were going to be available to help there too.
That's great. But their main focus stays the same, even though they're moving under MIS. And I know that that will fall under the commissioners now, but I'm
Yes,
assuming from BET conversations, and I believe kind of the purpose in centralizing them is because they work with all the different offices. So how do we guarantee that their focus will stay the same and that they won't get pulled over to more traditional IT functions and not the mapping and all of those other projects?
Yeah, I think those will be conversations that the BOCC will have with their department head over IT to make sure. But as we do the budget, and IT does so many line item issues in their budget. Now, salary and benefits kind of gets lumped in there, but as far as the programming and the software expenses and all that, that will continue to be line itemed. And so they'll have some more line items, but they're going to still be doing the same things. I mean, the assessor will continue to be a power user of GIS. I mean, they started this, they have a great need for it.
Well, we really need them too.
Right. And they started going around and they recognized the benefit it had to their organization and thinking that it could have benefits to others. And as they did that, it just kind of grew and it made it difficult on GIS because they were kind of doing stuff GIS and stuff for the assessor's office. And so it just got it to where it was difficult because the assessor may need them working on this, but a particular office, District 3 or whoever, may need them working on this for GIS. And so it just got to the point to where it felt like it was large enough that we could move it out of the assessor's office and have it into county IT so that it was clear that they were doing things for everybody. And then the assessor could backfill and have people doing those other functions that kind of the second half of the role that some of them were playing. So I think it's going to yield some efficiencies and some greater usage by other entities within the county besides just the assessor's office, which I think a lot of that stuff ties into the assessor's office information. And I think it's just going to be a win-win for all of us as we move forward. It's going to take a little while to get everything ironed out.
But there will be the plan is to have a clear line for funding moving forward to make sure that the funds that go to MIS do not get diverted to something else, but it stays focused on the mapping projects. And I know all of our offices, have been, I know the assessor's office and our office have been primary users, but I know the commissioners have been doing great work with some of that stuff too. And it'll be very easy for MIS to say, we don't have enough money over here and we really need this school project, or we need more people here. And so I think it's very important that we protect and we're all very clear of the direction that we're going here. So I appreciate the work, but just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Absolutely.
Now and for next fiscal year.
And just to clarify that, one of the individuals has been working full-time for the other elected official's office, not under assessment-related information. The other individual has already been working 6 months, and that's where we had set the timeline for this transition to take place. So his workload has already been adjusted as well. Moving forward at this point, he will simply be over the entire county portion of the GIS piece. So we are a customer just as you are, even though we've been utilizing it for so long.
Right.
That person will still be working with us on special project just as they work with you with special projects.
Yeah, I think that's great.
I just wanted to verify that the workloads have been adjusted because I want to make sure that the work is being done outside the assessor's office. That's quite clear.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, and I appreciate the conversation and the work.
Part of the thing is they will still be available for our county assessor food days, so it's be out of the office that day.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, 41. This is transfer funds.
Motion to approve?
We did 40 a while ago.
No.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, any citizens to speak? If not, board comments, assessor?
I'm sorry
Merry
to
Christmas, the income level for people
I think-
eligible.
What do you need, Kathy?
I'm sorry, I need a vote from Mr. Freeman and Mr. Warren. Thank you.
Merry Christmas, the income level for those who can apply for the senior assessment, not the property tax, but the assessment freeze. The income level for next year is $89,500, so please let anyone you know that might be eligible call the assessor's office. We can get them signed up. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You guys stay safe. Happy New Year.
Merry.
Happy birthday to the treasurer
hey,
here in a
that's
few
right.
days.
That's right. I will finally be in my 50s.
1850s.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. I just want to say thank you to Chantel, Jessica, and Accenture, your whole team, for all the work that you guys are doing and taking time to come and give me an overview of the different items. It's very helpful. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I like the process that we went in today, and we'll work with you to help make sure things are in order to make sense moving forward. But thank you very much. And I also want to introduce Christina Booth, who is sitting next to Carrie, so she can stand up and wave. Several of you guys have met Christina, but she is new to our team, and she is the COO, so chief of everything, really. Christina came from the Capitol, and she also has a background in nonprofit work and also real estate. So we're excited to have her on board, and she's going to help manage a lot of the different projects around our office. So you'll see her. Please be kind to her. But we're excited to have her on board to partner with us, and she'll work closely with Carrie and Jason and our whole team. So thank you very much for being here. Merry Christmas.
I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. All our county family, all our county citizens. I hope you all have a safe, very profitable next year. Wish you well.
Happy holidays from the sheriff's office.
Okay, any new business? If not, is there a motion to
Motion to
adjourn?
adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.